Welcome back, family, to the channel. Make Africa great again. Listen, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I got something interesting today that I want you guys to check out. It's Charleston White talking about how he feels about Africa. So, yo, let's check out this video, and then, yo, I'm gonna share my 2 cents about how I feel about the statements he made, all right?
Africa ain't built no ship and came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa. Yeah, and Africans don't like us. Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't like us, and they stink. Yeah, ain't some stinky people. Yeah, niggas, fuck Africa. Yeah, they ain't our people. We niggas, slaves, the descendants of slaves. They would never call no nigga. The first group of Africans, only one generation. Now the first group came. They wasn't born into this shit. Me and your people was born into this, homie. They were born slaves. They birth certificates say nigga. They was born in Africa. They are not us. They know what tribe they come from. They had a language. Once they broke them from the language and we was born in these conditions. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Hebrew. We nigga. Bottom line, homie.
All right, you guys, what did you think about that statement by Charleston White? Crazy, right? Crazy. What I will personally say is that this is when people like me and Mr. Go Black are saying, make Africa great again or go black to Africa. We're not speaking to African Americans that have this mentality, because this mentality is a very toxic, a very ignorant, a very, I don't even know the right word to use, because I was just surprised that he would make such an ignorant statement saying that Africans stink, and is saying essentially him attacking Africans and belittling them. He's essentially belittling and attacking himself, right? I think we all can agree on that. But this Charleston White, he just says things for clickbait. He says things to get people to react. And you have a lot of people who do that nowadays, unfortunately. But there are some African Americans that share those same sentiments, that share those same thoughts about Africa. And I just wanted to say, this is why their plan has worked for centuries, to divide and conquer. They keep us divided, and they keep us believing these ignorant things about Africa. And that is why we are always going to be at the bottom in any country, because at the end of the day, we have no respect for the land that we come from. So that's my opinion about Charleston White. I'm not going to stay talking about him too long, because he does stuff like this just to get reactions out of people. But on a deeper note, what I did want to point out, what is really crazy to me is me coming to Africa and me seeing, especially South Africans, and not all. So the ones who don't feel this way, please don't get on my page commenting, because if you don't feel this way, you have no emotions about what I'm saying. But I have met a lot of South Africans that share the same sentiments about other African countries, about other African brothers and sisters, that say, you know, there was a sister that made a comment in one of my previous videos saying about Orania, that I feel so sad that they're doing this in my land. And a South African got on there and said, South Africa's not your land. You know, this is not your country. Your people don't come from South Africa. So can you really blame African Americans for their ideologies and beliefs when you meet Africans that will tell other Africans that this is not your land, this is not your country, you don't belong to South Africa, go back to where you're from? And this whole division that I see even within Africa is disturbing to me. And I gotta call it out and say, a lot of you South Africans need to change the way you think, because you don't see all African people throughout the continent as one. You guys, for some odd reason, see yourselves as a different than a Cameroonian, different than a Nigerian, different than a lot of South Africans. And that mentality is a sick mentality for South Africans and African Americans. So I'm not just going to call out my own people. I'm going to call out Africans and especially South Africans and the mentality they have. Now, the one last point I will point out that I have to make this point. It does bother me that a lot of your African leaders have not spoken up for us African Americans. You guys have not done essentially enough to try to speak up on our behalves when you see us being killed, when you see us being racially profiled. This whole chaotic system that you see throughout America and the diaspora is a problem that has started from Africa, with you guys letting us go to these different countries and allowing us to be mistreated and not speaking up on our behalf. That is why there are so many brothers in America and throughout the diaspora that have a lot of resentment for Africa. But I will pay homage to Ghana and them trying to reach out to us African Americans and giving us citizenship. I respect that. And for South Africa and a lot of these other African countries, you need to do the same thing. But I am educated and I realize now about neocolonialism and how a lot of these African countries are still being controlled by Western countries. So a lot of them can't even do what they essentially want to do because they have to check in with Massa and see if he would allow us to come here first. And they don't want us African Americans to come here because if we come here, we're going to come here to wake up the people and start a revolution. And they don't want that to happen. So I had to share my thoughts on that. I had to share how a lot of African Americans are frustrated with a lot of Africans and the fact that you guys aren't really speaking up on our behalf. And we find ourselves in these circumstances in America and throughout the diaspora, all because you guys let us go for little to nothing to these Western countries. Now, my last point that I want to make, and then I'm done, you guys. I have a major pet peeve with African brothers and sisters. And this goes not for South Africans. I've met Cameroonians, Nigerians. I met a lot of, that's the one beautiful thing about living in South Africa. You meet a lot of people throughout the continent here in South Africa. And this is my pet peeve that I have to get off my chest and get off my heart. Why is it that so many of you guys, when I tell you I'm from America, I have brothers asking me, can you help get me there? Can you take me to America? Can you get me a visa? Can you help me and my family get there? And they just try so hard to try to help me, to try to get me to take them back to America. But now my question is, were you guys trying to go to America when we were in slavery? Were you guys trying to go to America in the 1600s when we essentially were going through so much chaos, so much devastation, so much pain and torture? You guys weren't trying to come to America. Why now do Africans want to go to America? It's because you guys see this glamorized version. You see the Kevin Harts, you see the Dave Chappelles, you see the Michael Jordans, you see the LeBron James, that you have this false belief that America is so great when it's not even what you think it is. But you guys will be surprised how many of my brothers and sisters ask me to take them to America. And it rubs me the wrong way because you didn't want to come to America when we were in shackles and chains and when we were slaves. But now you want to come to America and reap the benefits of supposedly, the great American system that is created, that a lot of people believe is going on, that is not really what it is. So that's just one of my pet peeves that I do want to get off my chest, is that stop trying to come to America now when you think that it's so great and you're not even educated on what's really going on in damn America, right? So that's my last point. I'm not going to keep this video long. I just had to share my 2 cents about Charleston White. And yes, I'm going to end it here. African Americans who share those ideologies and those same sentiments, we don't want you here in Africa. We don't want you to come here with that ignorant mentality Because at the end of the day, you can keep that I don't even know the word, what kind of mentality that is, but keep that over there in America. Keep that mentality, keep those ideologies, keep that division over there, because we got enough division over here to figure out. And yeah, we only want people from America who are going to come to Africa and try to rebuild Africa, try to make Africa great again, try to help this democracy that is in shambles, and to break down this neo-colonialism that has been created to keep us all divided. So listen, you guys, let's come together and make Africa great again, and change the way we think. Because unfortunately, what's even worse than us being in slavery is having the mind be in shackles and chains mentally. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that thought. Please check out my other content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yo, let's come together and make Africa great again. All right, peace.